Heather. I'm back for a really quick video. This one to have a light chat about how NovNov for me has manifested itself less as a reading month and more as a buying month. Like, God knows there's no space in my house for more books. Why do I feel like it's just acceptable to go into a place and leave with something that has to then come into my house? There's no space for that thing. I don't know what my problem is. Also, my husband has a similar problem, so it's not just me having to secretly sneak in my books and then try to find a place for them. It's also him. It's like a dueling book collection battle, okay? So I don't know what I was thinking when I acquired all of these novellas for this month. Anyway, NovNov, if you don't know, is Novellas in November. Not really an official thing, just like a collection of novella lovers doing novella stuff. And it's been amazing, really, because I did read quite a few. Like the first video, I'll link it down below for this month for NovNov. I did read, I think, 4 so far, or 5 so far, but 4 for the video that I just did. I'll do the other novellas that I read in this month, I'll do at the sort of end of the month, like I'll do another novella video as well. But I have found that because it's like Novellas in November month, you know, it's like NovNov, it's more just on my radar. Like novellas in particular are on my mind more than they normally would be. So I like go into a store and just have like a look around, just a casual look, light look, not to buy, just to look, to visit the books, if you will, to say hello. But then I see all these novellas that I wouldn't normally have like seen, you know, I wouldn't like normally pick up on the fact that they're there and they're novellas. And I sort of register them and I look at them and I'm like, actually this looks really good. And then I end up adopting them like my children. Okay, so I have a thicky stack, y'all, of novellas that I've acquired this month. That is 5 books I should never have bought. So many regrets. Like, adulting is hard. So the first one that I found for super cheap in Smith's when I went there to buy a pen. This is always the case. I never go to a place to buy a book. I go to a place to buy a thing I actually need and is acceptable for me to purchase. And then I just happen to see other things. So on my way to get a much needed pen for work at Smith's, I found this one for only £2. Like, why can I not buy that if it's only £2? Like, you know, it's hard to pass up. But also, for my office book club, we read Gone Girl by the same author. I think it's Gillian Flynn, not Gillian Flynn. But if anyone knows, please let me know. And Gone Girl was a bit ruined for me because I'd already seen the movie. And I'm really angry at myself for doing that because it would have been an amazing book if I had not seen the movie. But because I'd seen the movie and it's such a like true to book adaptation, everything in it I already knew and it ruined it. But I was like, Gillian Flynn is obviously an amazing writer. I love her writing style. I love, you know, how she grips people and how she like does plot twists. So I want to read something else of hers. And I didn't know until I saw it, but she's written a novella. And I'm down. £2. Gillian Flynn. This is going in my brain, okay? I don't know what it's about, obviously, because it was a impulse buy. But, let me see. A young woman is making a living faking it as a cut-price psychic. Oh, I love it already. With some illegal softcore sex work on the side. She makes a decent wage, mostly by telling people what they want to hear. But then she meets Susan Burke. It's a little bit like that Ruth Ware one at the minute. I can't think of the name of it. It's not The Key. It's the other one. Like The Death of Mrs. Westaway. Yeah, it's sort of like that, isn't it? Has anyone read that one? That one was pretty good. Susan moved to the city 1 year ago with her husband and 15-year-old stepson Miles. They live in a Victorian house called Caterhook Manor. Does anyone else name their house? I'm not, you know, number by street, but this is my house and it is called Ugly House. Old House. House of Spiders. Don't know. I'll think of something better. I'll let you know. The young woman doesn't believe in exorcism or the supernatural. However, when she enters the house for the first time, she begins to feel it too, as if the very house is watching her, waiting, biding its time. Woo! I'm so excited. Okay, so the next one is The Cockroach by Ian McEwan. I also picked this one up at Smith's when I picked up The Grown Up. This one was not on sale because it's brand new, but I really, really want to read it ever since I heard about it. I think I read about it like in the newspaper, just, you know, like the Independent or something like that. Like, it's a sort of Brexit-y related one. And I did do a video about a book I read about Brexit by Fintan O'Toole. He did like Brexit and the Politics of Pain or something like that. And it was pretty good. And I am sort of on a mission to read like more like Brexit and politics related things that will sort of like help me to either A, understand the opposing side in the political debate, or B, just laugh at it to like relieve stress. So I think this fits that category. It's called The Cockroach, and it's about Jim Sams has undergone a metamorphosis. In his previous life, he was ignored or loathed, but in his new incarnation, he is the most powerful man in Britain, and it is his mission to carry out the will of the people. Nothing must get in his way, not the opposition, nor the dissenters within his own party, not even the rules of parliamentary democracy. So it's sort of like a bit like that Kafka one, you know, The Metamorphosis, which I was forced to read in school and never fully understood. So, you know, there's that. Will I be smart enough to get it? But I think I'm gonna do my best. So the next one is one that I found in the bookstore when I went to the bank. So I really needed to put money into the bank, and next door to the bank is a bookstore. So again, did not go to the bookstore just to go to the bookstore. I went there to do something else. But this one is called The Dreams of Max and Ronny by Niall Griffiths. And this is like a series that I have seen sometimes but haven't really dipped into. And it's based on stories that are in the Mabinogion. It's like the Welsh epic. You know how like every culture has like this epic traditional sort of collection of stories and like the legends of the culture. This is the Welsh one. It has quite a lot of Arthur stories in it. You know, King Arthur, he was like originally a Welsh figure, and he's in quite a lot of these sort of ancient Mabinogi tales. Anyway, some of them are not Arthur related, even though a lot of them are. And so this one is based on two of the stories in the Mabinogion, and it is Dronaboy's Dream and The Dream of Max Wledig. So I do remember reading the Mabinogion when I first moved to Wales, thinking, oh, it's going to be really good. And all of the tales sort of meld together, do you know what I mean? In sort of the way of epics. You know, so-and-so begat so-and-so who begat so-and-so. And like, it's just hard to follow. So I don't really remember exactly what these ones are about. But I do remember like really enjoying the sort of plots that were in place there, you know. And this is why I'm really excited about this, because it's sort of like taking those tales and putting them into like a modern context and sort of tweaking them a bit. So this one is, there's war and carnage abroad, and Iraq-bound squatty Ronny is out with his mates forgetting what is yet to happen. He takes something dodgy and falls asleep for 3 nights in a filthy hovel where he has the strangest of dreams, watching the tattooed tribes of modern Britain surrounding a grinning man playing war games. Meanwhile, Gangsta Max is fed up with life in his favourite Cardiff nightclub, Rome, and chases a vision of the perfect woman in far-flung parts of his country. But as Max loses his heart, his followers fear he may be losing his touch. Niall Griffith's retelling of 2 dream myths from the medieval Welsh Mabinogion cycle reveal an astonishingly contemporary and satirical resonance. Arthurian legend emerges with its 21st century counterpart in a biting commentary on leadership, conflict, and the divisions in British society. So I'm super excited about that one. I think also it's going to give me a lot of things to Google. So while I'm reading it, obviously I'm going to want to know how closely it is, or like what parts of it match the original Mabinogion story. So I think I'll do quite a lot of Googling of that while I'm doing it. So it'll be good. Okay, the next one is The Library of Unrequited Love. So this one, I went into the bookstore to get a much needed calendar for next year. Because I was at work and someone was like, okay, we need to make sure we put in the diary for January so-and-so meeting or whatever to ensure that we make sure blah blah. And I was like, right, I'll make a note now. And I went to my calendar and I was like, shit, no January. Guess what? I need to get a new calendar. I need to go to the store right now and get a brand new calendar. And while I was there, I obviously found this. Like, please don't judge me. Like, I understand my problem and I'm working on it. Like, don't look at me. I'm disgusting. So Sarah from Hardcover Hearts also picked up this book recently, or read it recently, or something. It was on her channel recently, and it was after I bought it. So I just impulse bought this one on my way to the cash register, and then after that saw her on her channel saying that it was pretty good. So I'm excited about that. She didn't say it was the most amazing book she'd ever read, which worries me, but she did say that she enjoyed it. So I'm still excited. It's One morning a librarian finds a reader who has been locked in overnight. My dream. I would love for that to happen to me. It never will do because I'm not that lucky, but whatever. She begins to talk to him, a one-way conversation full of sharp insight and quiet outrage. As she rails against snobbish senior colleagues, an ungrateful and ignorant public, the strictures of the Dewey Decimal System, and the sinister expansionist conspiracies of the books themselves, two things shine through. Her unrequited passion for a researcher named Martin, and an ardent and absolute love for the arts. A delightful divertissement for the discerning bookworm. Guys, yes, I'm here for that. Okay, so the last one, I don't think it's actually a novella. Pretty sure it's non-fiction. It's basically just a mini memoir, but I'm going to include it anyway because it's the exact same size as all the other ones. I've acquired it at the exact same time based on me being hyper-focused on tiny books, and I feel like, you know, it has like a novella feel for it, you know what I mean? This one is A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr, and loads of people have actually said that this one's really good. This one I got in Cardiff Market on my way to buy lunch. So, much needed sustenance and cheap as well. So I wasn't even like, you know, in a mind to blow money on really expensive food or whatever. Like, I was there specifically for a purpose to acquire lunch quickly and cheaply, and just happened to walk by this, which then came with me. I don't know how it happened. It's like I blacked out and then I came to and my hand was carrying this. So I have a problem. So this one, I don't really know a hell of a lot about it, except that loads of people have been like, this is an amazing book and you should definitely get it. And I do like a sort of book that has a calming sense, you know? Like one of the ones that I'm going to read this month, I think probably the next one I'm going to read, is like A Time to Keep Silence by Patrick Lee Fermer. And it's sort of his wanderings through like monasteries and stuff in Europe. And it's just got like a really peaceful, calm, you know, quiet sense of the whole book, and I just need that in my life. Anyway, I think this is also a little bit like that. So, a damaged survivor of the First World War, Tom Birkin, finds refuge in the village church of Oxgodby, where he's to spend the summer uncovering a huge medieval wall painting. Immersed in the peace and beauty of the countryside and the unchanging rhythms of village life, he experiences a sense of renewal and belief in the future. I need that. Now an old man, Birkin looks back on that idyllic summer of 1920, remembering a vanished place of blissful calm, untouched by change, a precious moment he has carried with him through the disappointments of the years. So those are my guys, my book haul for NovNov, and I reckon it's not over. What's today? It's the 16th. It is the 16th of November. It's halfway through the month, and I've already acquired these novellas for November. It's not going to end. I may have to do another haul as well this month, or I could find that at the end of the month I've actually stuck to all my goals and not lost myself and bought loads of books I don't need, but I doubt it. Before the end of NovNov, I'll do another video to do with the second half of my NovNov reading, and then depending on how well I'm able to control myself, potentially another book haul as well. If you have any thoughts at all about these or other novellas, please let me know. I'm super excited to hear about it. If you've read any of these or want to read any of these, or if you're also doing Novellas in November, or if you have just any thoughts at all, please let me know. I need to have chats about books. Even though my husband like also has an obsession with books, they're like gross books. They're like, you know, like really heavy textbooks about like the birth of languages and like really like heavy, old school, like 19th century tomes written in Welsh about like, you know, the kings of Wales, you know. It's just all offensive to me. I can't cope. You know, so we can't have chats about books, even though both of us love books more than anything, because the kind of books that we read, like he thinks that my books are frivolous and stupid. I think that his basically a really boring waste of time. So I need to find other people that I can talk to. Please, if you have any thoughts at all related to anything this or similar, save me from my lack of people to talk about books to. Okay, I have to go now. I love you all. Until next time. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.